I'm Ian Rush and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Even nails. It's proper hard, like.
Yeah, the tavern company, Penny Lane, where nails are an available condiment. Martin, if you want to come back. Right, okay, we're gonna move on to the Uncensored Match Build Up show. If you join us on YouTube. Liverpool had a great win at the weekend, last weekend I should say, against West Brom. We've just discussed that to death. It was very interesting. Do check it out. We're now going to move on to the Liverpool-Arsenal game this weekend, and we're going to open with a trivia question, and it is thusly, and if it's wrong, please direct your eye towards Dave at TBHAS75 on Twitter. That's right, isn't it? It is, yeah. Good. Thought so. Okay, it's 17 years since Arsene Wenger joined Arsenal. How many times have Arsenal faced Liverpool in that time? Obviously not including the game because we haven't played them. Didn't really need to say that, did I?
No, because you did that with the past
that wasn't
tense.
The question.
Okay,
we're going to answer that. The trivia question's going to come right at the end of the show. We're switching the order up a little bit this week. We're going to talk about Arsenal, talk about Liverpool, then we're going to have score predictions and what have you. Then we're going to have a little bit of a musical interlude, and then I'm going to come back with the trivia answer, probably because it'll help me remember to actually record it this week. For the first time in ages. Right, okay. If you've got an answer to the trivia question, leave it in the comments section. Okay, let's start off. Jonathan, I'm going to start with you. Is this Liverpool's first genuine big test of the season?
No, I mean, obviously they've played United at home, and that's
so is this the first genuine big test of the season?
No, it's a second one.
It's Arsenal's first big test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they've got Liverpool, Dortmund, and they've obviously got Chelsea
United as well.
Yeah, they've got United coming up. So this is their moment of truth. But yeah, I mean, it is. It's a big one, and it's going to be fascinating because of how well Arsenal are playing, but also maybe I saw Arsenal at the weekend. First time they maybe have slipped a little bit from that standard, and obviously Liverpool's form was very, very good. So maybe a little gap's been narrowed performance-wise.
Could be the irresistible force meets the immovable object.
Something like that. Yeah. So it was a good game between them as well, isn't it? I mean, it's just one of those fixtures that's always good. So
yeah, I mean, what do you think that obviously? Obviously Man United, are the mid-table side, so that couldn't possibly have been our biggest.
Southampton was the hardest
Southampton's
test so far.
been the biggest test
for most teams
for everyone. Yeah.
Well, given Arsenal are everyone's favourites at the moment, aren't they? Everyone thinks they're wonderful and they're playing well, etc., etc. So if we do well against them, then people might sit up and take some notice. And we do normally raise our game against the bigger teams. Mm-hmm. So to play as well as we did last weekend, to then have the opportunity to raise our game for a big club. Yeah. I think it'll be really fascinating.
We actually played quite well there last year as well, didn't we? Henderson actually had one of those revelatory games where he seemed to become a man.
Yeah, I mean we played 4-4-2 or something ridiculous last year, didn't we? And played really well.
That was when we played Luis Suarez like left mid, didn't we?
Yeah,
and we played 4-5-1
to see what he does. Particularly again, he's got this thing who plays behind the two front men. Is Coutinho going to come straight back in, or is he going to leave him on the bench and bring him on later, given he's come back from injury? That's very interesting.
I think at the very least he's going to have to flip the triangle back, isn't it? Because Arsenal's got about.
You don't flip the triangle against Arsenal. Never flip the triangle.
Lucas Slater just stood there on his own. Well,
17 number 10.
With his finger in the dike.
Yeah, literally, that's it. Definitely.
They've had the easiest start out of all the big teams, haven't they, Arsenal? And I think we've had the second easiest start.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Someone told me last week when I was at Arsenal that the results are worse than they were last season against comparable teams.
Seriously?
Yeah. They've got less punch, that's right. Yeah.
Well, interesting. Doesn't actually. Yeah, I don't understand how that works, but that sounds good. No, we're going to talk about whether obviously people have said Arsenal played no one. We've relatively speaking played no one. Who's had the toughest start to the season? We're going to be discussing that on the Friday football show. It's on the redmentv.com, which is free for a month. If you haven't checked it out yet, do. So, question for you, Chris: Arsenal, are they the champions elect or just pretenders to the throne?
I don't know. It hinges on Flamini for me. I think he's so big in their system, which is crazy because they've got like 1,700 number 10s, as we've discussed, and literally about 10 or 12 on the books for them. But he is such a massive part of them, and he played 15 minutes at the weekend, and their performance was nowhere near as good.
Yeah. I think he's out for sure. I think it's his groin injury.
Outstanding news. There we go. It's interesting because we were talking about again last week. I don't even know how we came on to. It must have been a Friday football show. We were discussing Arsenal's depth, and we were going through. Oh, look at the players they've got, and you know they've got Özil and they've got Cazorla. Everyone's forgotten about Cazorla. He's just come back in again. You know, Wilshere, Aaron Ramsey's come out of nowhere. Obviously Giroud, and then it was like. Arteta, and then
Podolski.
Podolski, oh friggin' hell, Podolski,
Chamberlain,
Oxlade-Chamberlain, another forgotten man, Theo Walcott. I had to write them down. It's ridiculous. Nabri's just coming through as well, and the forgotten man who does look like a homeless lumberjack at the minute, Nicholas Bentner. So they've got enviable depth to that squad, and I was. How
many defensive mids have they got though?
This is the important question. The same as us. One. But you know, this time last year,
one of the problems they're going to face is when people like Oxlade-Chamberlain and people like that are fit again, you know, because they're going to expect to be playing a lot more, and clearly that's going to put pressure. Does that make everyone better, or does it start to cause a bit of distress?
Well, that's where they're going to find out.
Walcott as well.
Theo Walcott, yeah. Where does Theo Walcott fit into that system? I'm not entirely convinced that he does. You know, do Oxlade-Chamberlain and Walcott need to be playing more as wingers than than the players they have there? Will he have to adapt? You're right. Boo fucking who for Arsene Wenger, isn't it?
It's like this. They've always played the kids in the League Cup, and that time they came to Anfield and wiped the floor with us. But you can't take a whole bunch of kids and just put them in your first team. You can only feed one or two in at a time. So it doesn't actually make any difference whether you've got a great young side. It's whether you've got people who can make that step up.
I think what they've done well for the first time in a long time is got rid of the deadwood. You know, I was watching them on Saturday and thinking, well, a year ago you're watching Andre Santos, you know, you're watching Gervinho, you know, people like Danielson was still on the books. And there has been a bit of a sort of cleansing process. It's almost like Wenger's sort of finally had a look at some of the videos and thought, well, wait a minute. And he's you know, he's kept the good players and he's got rid of some of the sort of poorer ones.
Brought back some of the better ones.
Brought back some of
So maybe it's Overmars they're going to bring back next season.
No, you're right, but I looked at their squad, it's pure quality. It is absolutely astonishing. And unfortunately, obviously, they've got some injuries. Obviously, Diaby's looks like he's out for the season. Or the vast majority, I thought he was...
How good he was.
At Anfield last season, he was terrific. He absolutely ran the game. And that's a great piece of news for us anyway, not for him and his career. We were going to do Danger Man focus on Mesut Ozil because he's the obvious one. They paid the big money for him in the summer. But we went on whoscored.com to look at some stats. The other websites aren't available. And Aaron Ramsey's killing it.
I was going to say, at the weekend, you know, in a poor performance by the team, standards were still high. You know, when the standards are good, when every pass finds its man, where every time, you know, they lose possession, you're working back. He's just a guy that's really playing just, you know, top of his game at the moment in every sense.
Is that it? Do you think it's just that it's clicked and he's stepped up as happens, or is this just a player?
Injury though, didn't he?
He always was a good player. As a youngster, he was a terrific player, and then he went to Arsenal for big money, didn't he? And then he got a terrible injury. You know,
he looks like a lad that's just suddenly grown up as well. You know, he's been 24 now. And,
well, it's amazing because they've been raving about Wilshere, and everyone's been waiting for Wilshere to come back. And you look at it now, the way it goes. Jack Wilshere's going to have to start picking his game up if he wants to start playing, if he wants to continue playing regular football.
I think that's the thing that Arsenal fans have been saying for a while, though, to be honest. I think they've a few that I've spoken to have all said Wilshere needs to pick his game up because he's not been great. It's all that smoking, isn't it?
Well, smoking those knee injuries.
Yeah. Now, just on Aaron Ramsey, he's made 8 starts this season, one from the bench. He scored 5 goals and got 4 assists and has a pass completion rate of 87.3%, which is immense. And on that as well, the other obvious danger man is Olivier Giroud, who I this time last year completely wrote off. Completely wrote him off. He's got 5 goals and 4 assists as well.
I remember when he signed. I remember an agent who actually, he's got a good judge of a player usually, and he's always told me some good stuff. And he said to me, he's a French Grant Holt. So I remember sort of French Grant Holt. And he did look like it for a couple of games, didn't he? But
I conclusively sat down and said, Olivier Giroud has proven what we all knew, as basically evidenced by Andy Carroll, that big target men with no pace don't work in the Premier League anymore. The days are gone. We learned it with Fernando Morientes in 2006. I thought that the days are definitely gone. And then now, lo and behold, now he's just class, isn't he?
I tell you, the goal he scored as well was great, because he's not, you're used to Arsenal players being brilliant athletes, lovely movers, and he's not. He's like a sort of, he's like a builder from Lille or whatever. And he had to. Ramsey made this great break, and he couldn't really keep pace with him, but he's got a lot of desire, and you could see the sweat sort of pouring off him. He was like really struggling, running through treacle, and he got there and he got his header in, and it really was like a sort of throwback kind of goal, like a Bob Latchford sort of bit of effort. And I've really warmed to him as a player, because again he also looked like a bit of a sort of self-regarding guy that thought he was a bit of a star when he wasn't, but actually.
You said that very, very diplomatically.
I was wondering what word to use, but he's a trier, and he's a trier that's got better and better. You talk about being inspired by people around you. He's not as good as the other players around him, but he's making himself up to that standard.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously a goal scorer, isn't he? I mean, we've seen plenty of French.
I could have scored that header though from that cross from Ramsey. That was a great chip.
It was, wasn't it?
It was a chip. Was it like you were talking about before with Dalglish and stuff? It was just.
It was what Suarez made. Was it Sissoko's chip, wasn't it? He made it look like that, but it wasn't. No. The Ramsey one was a deliberate one of them.
Defo. So, are you going to say something there? No,
definitely not.
That's fine.
That's not what I'm here for, is it?
Okay, let's look a little bit.
So, in answer to your question, pretenders to the throne.
Pretenders to the throne, yeah. It's just basically.
It was a long time ago, that question.
It's just turned into a big Arsenal wank fest, like. No, I mean, understandably so. I mean, look, they've been great, and you can see why. Because we were talking about Cazorla last season. Everyone was going, "Wow, what a player Cazorla is," and he's not even in Ozil's league. Mourinho was talking about him being the perfect 10. Was that, David, like a year ago, 2 years ago, he was talking the Mourinho quotes on Ozil. Yeah. I'm talking for a bit more specific, but that's fine. At some point in the past, I was Mourinho said, "No,
it's a third week in the March."
He said the perfect, and there's not even there's no one like him. There's not even a poor copy of him. That's how good he is. And we're talking about £40 million player compared to what did they pay for 15?
I think.
His returns now for Arsenal are much better than they were at Real. They never used him properly at Real.
He's still getting like 32, 33 assists a season though, wasn't he? Right. Yeah, but Ronaldo's scoring like 80 goals, isn't he?
Right, okay, so I mean, let us know your thoughts if you're watching at home. Let us know in the comment section. Do you reckon Arsenal are genuine title contenders, or will they do what they always do and basically screw it up and fight for that 4th place trophy that they win so often? Sorry, there's so many Arsenal fans who watch this show, I can't help myself. Yeah, you know you know. Anyway, Liverpool, because this is, of course, a Liverpool show. If you've just skipped forward past all the Arsenal stuff to the Liverpool stuff, welcome back. Phil Coutinho could return, Chris, but should he?
I don't know. I was debating before the show about, if it was me, what formation would I play first and foremost, because I don't know whether you need 3 at the back against Giroud up top on his own with players running off him, and then the Coutinho question. I really like the way Henderson harries people, and I think that's needed. And I think with their massive influx of central midfielders, someone like a Jordan Henderson's great, but I don't think I think it might be a game too early for Coutinho, to be honest. If it was me anyway, I'd probably stack the midfield with people who are going to try and win the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, there's 2 schools of thought, isn't there? do you go toe-to-toe with Arsenal in that instance? Coutinho, get him on because he's your creative 10 and he's the most Arsenal-like player we've got in some respects. Or, as Chris says there, do you put Henderson on for his ethic and his work rate to try and upset what they're going to try and do?
Yeah, I don't think you quite match Arsenal football for football, because they probably are going to beat you unless it's Barcelona they're playing against. And I would put Henderson in, definitely. They'll be playing probably with Arteta as their holding player. Lacks a little bit of pace. Get Henderson trying to do those runs, run past them. And also, if Rodgers has got this policy of rewarding people that are in form, and that's why he says he's keeping Agger out of the team. Yeah. It would actually undermine that if you just brought Coutinho back in. Yeah. That would be contradictory. So, yeah, keep him for a home game, keep him for the game after. But what a good substitute, what a good impact. So.
Well, that's a great point, isn't it? That we've lacked game changers on the bench for the most part of the season.
You've got to still be in the game to change it, haven't you? To change it with any effect. I think if we were playing West Brom this Saturday, I'd quite understand if Coutinho came straight back in. But we're actually playing Arsenal away, who are going to outplay us. They're going to pass us to death, aren't they? So, you're better off having Henderson in there. And I think that eventually Henderson's only going to stay in that side if the system changes. But I think for this weekend he's not going to change the system, I don't think.
Not massively, any.
What about Henderson's right back cover? That's one that...
We've heard that before.
Yeah. Henderson is right back, isn't he?
Well, he could do anything you tell him.
Yeah, he would do anything. But the thing is, we were actually clamouring for it about a month ago, where we said, Jordan, of all the people we've got who we've shoehorned into Glenn Johnson's boots while he was, desperately, everyone was square pegged into that round hole this season. Henderson seemed the likeliest one, because if you're going to play him essentially on the right, he's better at doing it than the vast majority. He's got the engine to get up and down. But
I don't think he plays very well on the right, particularly. He's not got a history of playing well.
He plays great on the right, like he did against Blackburn in that game.
Of course, it's because he doesn't run properly.
No, he doesn't run properly.
That's
no,
why he can't play
he's
on the
too
right.
fast
confused with his legs.
2 words: Michael Johnson. Did you ever see him run?
Yeah.
He ran with a straight back and he was pretty good,
Yeah, he was all right, wasn't he? But, yeah. Anyway,
they're nice problems for Rodgers to have, aren't they? He's
for the change,
players in surplus.
If Jose Enrique's back, it's literally, was it like Aspas, the only player we'll have missing, and he's got for the first time you're looking at potentially having Daniel Agger, Coutinho, and Enrique on the bench. I'm not saying Enrique, yes, amazing, we've got Enrique in backup, but he's a good backup player to have, and that's the first time we can sort of say.
Joe Allen there as well.
And Joe Allen, of course. We're in date. The only thing we're still lacking there, and that maybe would be Aspas or Barini or whatever, is that someone else in an attacking position, because it's Raheem Sterling at the minute or Jordan Ivan. I think shows that we're lacking a little bit of depth up top, whereas of course Arsenal have got 7-10s in reserve waiting to come on at any given moment.
I reckon Rodgers since I started doing fantasy football again this year, and I realise Rodgers has got all his money on the pitch. He's got. Who have I got left? Who's the cheapest centre half or something on the bench? Yeah, he's backup goalkeeper. Oh hello, poor old.
6.2 million on that one. Nice one.
I bet Brad Jones probably is one of those keepers, isn't he, in fantasy football? Yeah. Okay, Chris, is there any other changes you'd make? I mean, we've hinted at it briefly on the subscriber show earlier. Daniel Agger, and as mentioned by Jonathan, we're keeping him. He's being kept out of the side by Skrtel. Can he get back into the side based on any of the performances recently?
For me, Daniel Agger's not competing with Skrtel for that centre back position. He's competing with Saka.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think you can take. Obviously, we love talking about the meritocracy that is Rodgers and his team planning. But I really like the way Saka's come on. I don't think he's going to spend 18 million on somebody and then just sack him off after a few games. So,
I think Toure is staying in by the virtue of the fact that he's captain-like, isn't he? He's got that presence on the pitch. Because the other three, I would have thought, would have been better than him, would have been ahead of him in terms of their ability and their youth. In fact,
definitely, yeah.
We could even play Sacco in the middle, with Agger and Skrtel either side, possibly, or Agger in the middle. But so Toure, for me, would be the logical one to go out. But again,
shifting everybody
can that defence survive without someone who's actually trying to cajole?
Do you want
and lead them on?
Skirtle potentially playing right back as a result of it? You know what I mean? Which is what Toure ended up doing.
But as that system develops, you know, to use that system to its fullness, you need, or you could have, the centre back stepping into midfield right through the middle. Agger's the man, isn't he?
Be interesting to see how Thiago Ilori fits into that as well, because he could be, if he's got the pace that everyone's been banging about, which was your stat of the month, that he was faster than Cristiano Ronaldo at Sporting.
Under 17's 40 metre sprint test circa 2000 blah blah blah.
But
that
would make sense. That would make sense to have him be the right side of the centre half again from an attacking sense. So we could well see that as the season progresses. Let us know your thoughts. Actually, you know, loads of people are saying this to me because the people are amazed that Agger's not in, and because of course in Football Manager, FIFA, Pro Evo World, and international football held in a lot of people's minds, your best players, the people who are nailed on as your best players, have to be in your team at all times. Whereas the thing where Brendan Rodgers has going for him, and it seems to be working, is that notion that if you're playing well, then you get to play, and it's your role until you basically fuck it up, you know.
Or get injured.
Or get injured, yeah. So no, I think I'm quite pleased with that. Do let us know in the comments underneath. Just a quick one on Arsenal. Anyone, presumably Wilshere will come in for Flamini, do you think?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because I mean, at the weekend at Palace, they started with Arteta and Flamini essentially as a double pivot, as it were, with Ramsey, Ozil and Cazorla in front. You can't really see him changing the attacking three.
So Ramsey can't play, can he? No.
Ramsey?
Arteta.
Flamini's
missing the league.
No, he's be missing tonight.
He's missing tonight.
Or should I say 2 days ago, if you're watching this on Thursday. He's missed the game. He's missed the game. It was a good game, wasn't it, against Chelsea and that.
I think what he does is he plays Ramsey deep. You know, I know they're hyping Wilshere as a deep line midfielder. Not for me. I think he plays Ramsey deep alongside Arteta, and then Wilshere's the one forward. I think that's
push him on.
Plays him wide somewhere.
Yeah. Again, Arsenal fans, if you're watching, and I know you are, because you just can't stay away. Let us know.
Chesney. Oh, is it Chesney? Oh,
Koscielny, our best mate. Let us know how you think Arsenal are going to line up in the comment section underneath. Okay, let's have some score predictions then, please. Dad, we'll start with you.
2-1.
To Liverpool, presumably, because we've never ever predicted a Liverpool defeat.
4.5 years. Amazing, that is.
Yeah. Jonathan, you're going to break that mould?
Can I?
You're going to be the first
tip
one?
against, I think Arsenal will win this one.
Yeah.
I'm afraid so, yeah.
This will be the last time he comes on. Just cross. What do you think the score's going to be?
3-1, something like that.
Fucking hell.
I just think...
Be kind.
I'm going to flip the triangle and say 3-1 Liverpool. I know I said you should never flip the triangle against Arsenal, but I'm going to do it.
I would take, if you said to me a draw by any means necessary now, I would bite your hand off at the wrist at that for I would.
The fact that Everton are playing Tottenham stops us from plummeting way out of the top four if we get beat.
Yeah.
But we'll still probably end up out of the top four if we get beat, just that one defeat.
Yeah.
Because of the way everything is working.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the fan base thinks once we're not on the top four.
No, doom and gloom, the sky will be falling if we don't win this game.
Relegation fodder. Where's
the plus side since yada yada yada. No, I want to win this. I either want to win it really horribly, or I want to draw it really horribly, really horribly. You know, they're playing all this gorgeous, sexy, passing move football. I want to go and stifle that.
Them, yeah.
I just want to go and just boot them up in the air and stop everything, get a real horrible deflected goal, or score from a free kick or something. Just
go and play like Southampton.
Or just go and no, I genuinely don't care how we do it. I want to take something from this game.
The team's not set up to do that, is it? It's not set up to. I mean, Arsenal have a load of midfield possession, and I think Rodgers should stick with what he's doing, because I think there's a real way forward with that. But this just could be a little bit too early for the system, and I just see Arsenal having a lot of ball in midfield, and Lucas been quite tired at the end of the game.
I think our wing backs are definitely going to play further back, aren't they? This game, they're going to play as almost a back five, with Lucas and Gerrard protecting them, and then it's just about hitting them on the counter attack.
It could surprise everyone. We could go to switch it up completely and go to a 4-4-1-1. You know, we had great success with that kind of, you know, toward the end of last season playing counter attack and football. You know?
For me, Arsenal's weaknesses are is Jenkinson probably is their biggest weakness if he plays. So it's like a Moses or something against him, something like that.
Well, they had Sanya and Gibbs started at fullback last weekend, like, so you know you'd expect that.
Mertesacker waiting to be done by Suarez.
Suarez or Meg all day.
Suarez, Meg through balls into Sturridge, burst on.
It'll be interesting as well to see whether the Arsenal fans boo Suarez, because everyone does boo him, don't they? But then they're going to feel a bit daft, aren't they?
They're going to bid 40 million £2 and
right, okay, let us know your score predictions. Are you positive about this game? Are you as downbeat as Mr. Northcroft, like, who's popped out from behind the paywall to basically bring about a misery to this? Let us know your score predictions and your lineup predictions in the comments section underneath.
You don't have a paywall?
You what?
You don't have a paywall. Everyone's got a paywall.
We have got a paywall. We have got a paywall. Which is on the redmentv.com. But it's free for a month if you want to try it out. Some excellent content there. We're going to be on tomorrow night's show, the Reds News Roundup. We're going to be discussing Rodgers, Carra, Dalglish and Henderson all striking back at Alex Ferguson. What is Liverpool's best defence? Should Daniel Agger be starting? Fabio Barini, the now Sunderland legend. El Shawari to Liverpool, which may or may not be total bollocks.
2 + 2 equals El Shawari.
Yeah. Brendan Rodgers saying on Luis Suarez's future, Alonso potentially to Chelsea, and the Friday Football Show look at the whole of the Premier League. Before we go, we've got some RMTV music from an exceptional band, the biggest band we've ever had in here. You'll see what I mean in a second. Limited Series.
We are Limited Series, and this is Fake Fears. Though
Good all-round clapping. Yeah, fantastic. Do. If you like the music and you like the band, let us know in the comment section. Obviously, we move toward the end of the show, so it doesn't interfere with the football chat, which I know people are very angry about. The answer to the trivia question, which is the real reason.
Get in, Paul. You remembered.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's been 17 years since Arsene Wenger joined Arsenal. How many times have we played them in that time? The answer...
We're going to have guesses first?
No. Following on from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference last week. Yeah, it's the answer to the ultimate question.
42.
42. There you go. 33 times in the league, 2 in Europe, 3. Oh, obviously, as they pointed out, 2 legs. So we've played them once in Europe, but over 2 legs. 3 in the FA Cup, 3 in the League Cup, and 1 in the Charity Shield, or Community Shield, if you want to be all modern about it. Anyway, thanks very much. If you got that right, you're obviously some sort of genius, or you've just googled it, you cheat and get. Anyway, we're going to wrap up there. As I said, tomorrow show's the Reds news roundup, and then we've got the Friday football show. Do check it out on the redmentv.com. Ta-ra.